Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the Delaware Blue Hens Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 26, where today we're going to start year number 2 as we get into our first game of the season. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty mode content. But before we get to our game in week 1, we do have to go through week 0. And although we don't play on week 0, there are some big games on the slate for this week with a lot of the top teams playing. So let's go ahead. We'll start with the top stories. Starting the year off, Michigan State Notre Dame is the biggest game of the week out in South Bend. We'll see Ohio State in action as they'll play Kent State. And then we will also, in the next matchup, see Michigan in the Steve Sarkisian era start off at home against UTEP, and then Georgia Tech will hit the road to Georgia State in the Battle of the Atlanta Schools. Other big-time matchups, we see at number 16, Baylor starts off with a Power 4 matchup against SMU, and then the defending national champion Penn State and Indy Lions are in action this week as they will play host to the Buffalo Bulls. Also, the aforementioned Michigan State, Notre Dame, and UTEP Michigan games. Now, week 0 was a lot of fireworks, and we're going to start off with probably the biggest one. The defending national champions go down to the Buffalo Bulls, 30-20 in Happy Valley. We know this is not the same Nittany Lions team as last year, but that is a huge upset to begin the year, probably upset of the season. Notre Dame also falls to Michigan State despite a good performance from KK Smith as the Spartans get a victory. Clemson LSU is the big Week 1 matchup, the Battle of Death Valley squads. LSU won last year in Clemson. Now we head to Louisiana. And then at Central Michigan's Marcellus Pullman got a good performance, but they lost. On the rest of the games, Bowling Green starts off by upsetting Iowa State 39-24. We saw Penn State lose to Buffalo. Louisville, who made the semifinals last year, beats Charlotte 42-24. Miami, the other team in the national championship, they took care of business against Central Michigan. Texas A&M blew out Missouri State 45-6. Ohio State and Ryan Day did take care of Kent State 45-12. Boston College starts a new era off. They beat Rutgers 28-20. Kansas with a dominant performance over Middle Tennessee 42-17. The Sarkisian era of Michigan is off to a 1-0 start. They beat UTEP 38-21. And then Akron over UNLV, 38-31. Liberty dominates Ball State. The Ball State might be one of the worst teams in the country this year. Hawaii goes to Stanford and wins 48-33. It was not a good year for the Cardinal last year. That continues with a big loss in Week 0. Arkansas beats Memphis 49-24. Texas State over North Texas. And then Georgia State beats Georgia Tech 44-41. A big win in the Battle of Atlanta Schools. Another ranked opponent goes down. UConn loses to Air Force 35-23. East Carolina on the road will beat Old Dominion 28-20. Kansas State wins a close one against Washington State by a field goal. Baylor passes the SMU test 40-35. And the game of the week in South Bend, Michigan State won 43-41, a close one, but Sparty is victorious. UCF knocks off UMass. We see West Virginia over Virginia. It's a big win on the road for the Mountaineers. And then Colorado dominates Northwestern to close week number 0. As far as your players of the week, Marcellus Pullman, we saw his stats for Central Michigan despite the loss. He had a good game. Then Amarian Miller with 16 catches, 250 yards, and 2 touchdowns in a win against the Wildcats. Here are your big-time matchups in Week 1. We saw Clemson LSU. South Carolina has a huge matchup. They'll play home to number 2 Miami, as the Gamecocks look to bounce back after a down year last year. Auburn will play host to number 16 Baylor. Then Oregon will play host to Boise State as the Broncos look to try to be the group of 5 representatives for a 3rd straight season. Actually, they were not in last year. We, however, will play home to Coastal Carolina, and this is a game that I think we should win, as it's going to be a new era for Delaware. A lot of turnover, but I think we should have the matchup against Coastal Carolina. This is a talented team, though. They do return their quarterback last year in Roquan Barber. They also return Javon Edwards and Jamarion Wayne from last year. But I think this is a team that we should win. Hopefully we can start the year off 1-0, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get down to the tub on Friday night underneath the lights, as the Delaware Blue Hens will play host to the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers of the Sun Belt Conference. It's a new season. The 2026 season is underway here in the college football landscape, and both these schools would love to start off 1-0 in the Battle of the Birds, a Chanticleer versus a Blue Hen, as we'll see who is victorious as we are ready for kickoff here It will be Coastal kicking off to Delaware. We are underway with year number 2 in the Delaware Blue Hens Dynasty, as we'll start with a touchback. And we'll see the Delaware offense up first, who returns just one starter from last year. A lot of graduates, some transfers. We'll see how they respond. As we'll start with Blake Brown, the senior at quarterback. Limited action last year. He'll start off with a handoff to Saeed St. Fleur, who gains 5. St. Fleur had 240 yards on 53 carries last year, 4.5 average. He'll be leaned on a lot, as well as this man. The only returning player from the offense last year is tight end Jake Burdell. He is also the highest rated player on this team. First and 10, there's a 9-yard carry to St. Fleur, who's off to a solid start. We had a tough time running the football last year, and right away we're off to a better start this year, as there's another give to St. Fleur. And we're already into Coastal Carolina territory. On the read option, Blake Brown will keep it himself this time. He picks up 5 before going down. 2nd and 5 from the 37 now, as it's a pass play. Brown wants to let it develop, but he takes the sack. And look who's on the sack. That's Mbena Nwuka. If you remember the Gamecock series, he actually broke the record for most career sacks for a Gamecock. Now he's out here at Coastal Carolina. 3rd and 16, a beautiful touch pass to Mickey Welch, the San Diego State transfer, who gets open. But Brown, a very good quarterback in his own right, actually might have played a little bit better than Marker in limited action last year with a beautiful pass and then another quick one to Burdell. And Delaware's marching. 1st and 10, here's a give, and St. Fleur will gain a few before Luke Murphy of the Chanticleers will have to come off because of an injury. 2nd and 6, setting up a screen for St. Fleur outside, and he breaks a tackle, and St. Fleur's got himself a touchdown, the first of the season for Delaware. But it looks like it's not going to count. It's going to be a holding call against left tackle Noah Rosahak. And that's a big penalty because now it negates the touchdown. It's 2nd and 16. Brown right back to the screen. If it works the first time, why not do it again? It's a touchdown this time for real. 22 yards to St. Fleur, and it's 7-0 Delaware, as we'll take a look at the Coastal Carolina offense now, led by new head coach Bill O'Brien. Yes, he is the head coach out here in Coastal Carolina, fired from Boston College last year, and now he takes over for the Chanticleers. He'll start off on the ground. It's a loss of 1 to Javon Edwards. Now it's 2nd and 11. Roquan Barber to the air, and he misfires here. Not the most accurate last year. Only completed 53% of his passes, 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. As on 3rd and 11, they actually run it to Javon Edwards, and he will only gain 6. And that's going to be a 3-and-out for Coastal Carolina. Second drive here for Delaware is going to go backwards for a loss of 5. That's Wyatt Gideon with the TFL, the true sophomore. Now a 3rd and inches. Here's Greg Spiller getting a carry, and he will get the first. Nice 5-yard carry to Spiller, who had a handful of carries last year early on in the season when Jonathan Silver was hurt. He graduates. The all-time leader for receptions in a season for Delaware is Nick Colson on the first down run. Will have to come off the field. Now a 3rd and 2. They trust St. Fleur, and he will not get it. 4th and 1, but Coach Rob's going to keep the offense on the field. Getting aggressive early, they trust the ground game, and St. Fleur will have a first down as he gets them goal to go from the 2. As they'll hand it off to St. Fleur again, looking to punch it in, and he will do just that, capping off the drive with a touchdown. And Delaware leads 14-0 in the early portions of this game. That'll take us to the end of the first quarter. It's been all Blue Hens in the early portions of this one. 14-0, but Coastal Carolina is starting to drive down the field. As off, they had a big play from Jamarion Wayne before the break, 31 yards. And it sets Coastal Carolina at 1st and 10 from the 14. Offset pistol here. They hand it off to Edwards, and he's stuffed quickly. Maybe gets back to the line. Noah Matthews returns, who had 4.5 sacks last year for Delaware. One of 5 returning players on the defense. 3rd and 11 now. A quick strike across the middle, and that's caught for a touchdown. And Coastal Carolina will answer right back. Getting on the board first, that's Zachary Wiedner, the junior, with the score. And now it's 14-7. We'll see what Delaware does on the next drive. Here's a quick catch to St. Fleur as nobody covers underneath. And Nick Colson will have to come off the field again. He's hurt, grabbing at the rib cage. He might need to take an extended time off. 3rd and 2 now. St. Fleur up the middle will gash him, and he's got 11 carries for 58 yards. That's over 5.5 a carry. It sets Delaware up in coastal territory as there's a better run defense play for the Chanticleers. St. Fleur only gains 1. He checks out here on 2nd and 9, but it's going to be a pass from Brown. He looks for the tight end, but it's overthrown. A little bit of a miss there by Brown, starting to get the jitters out as well, as now it's 3rd and 9, as he'll go back to the air. Looks right side short. Here's Torrey, a Rutgers transfer who had 2 catches last year for the Scarlet Knights. He's going to be marked a yard shy, and that'll bring out the new kicker, true freshman Eric Casillas, from 36 out, and he will start off his collegiate career 1 for 1, as that is up and good, and Delaware leads 17-7. Next drive for Coastal, it's an early 3rd and 4 for the Chanticleers. It's a sprint out pass for Barber. Looks short, and that will not be a first down, and Delaware will force them to go 3 and out. Next drive for the Blue Hens, a 1st and 10 here at the 32 of Coastal, and they gain 6 on the check down to St. Fleur. Big blitz here on 2nd down. A quick throw to Jake Bradell. He's going to be the security blanket this year. Already 3 catches, 35 yards. The returning receptions player with 532 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. Here's a nice screen to St. Fleur. He's got him set up now nicely. Goal to go from the 3. As they'll go with a touch pass here, and this one will be in the end zone for a touchdown. Thomas Amanqua, the senior wideout, getting a chance in the slot after a good preseason, and he scores here on his first touch. It's now 24-7 as we've hit the 2-minute warning. Coastal in danger of this one turning into a blowout as they got to get something going here. There's a nice 6-yard strike, and they'll hurry back to the line. Trying to preserve the 3 timeouts. Man open in the flat, and that one's going to be caught for a first down. They'll hurry back to the line again. Empty here across the middle. This one's caught, but Gavin Ball puts him down. Last year had over 120 tackles for Delaware. 2nd and 5 now. Barber moves in the pocket, checks his short for the tight end. That's going to be a first down. And Roquan Barber, 129 yards and a touchdown, starting to find his momentum after a slow start. Pistol handoff here for Edwards, and he's quickly wrapped up. That's Dexter Foster, the Oregon State transfer, with the tackle. 2nd and 6, another quick pass to the tight end, and just some soft coverage across the middle is opening up these underneath passes. Inside a minute now, Coastal will burn timeout number 2. They go with a screen here to Edwards, and he will be tracked down, picks up 8. And Coastal will get back to the line, wanting to hold the last timeout. They got 20 seconds, but they got a goal to go now here from the 2. Gonna go hurry up here. Gonna preserve that last timeout as they get back to the line, back to the air. Here comes a blitz, but Barber counters with a quick throw to Edwards, and it's gonna be a touchdown. He beats Colin Gallagher, and Coastal will put up 7 going into the halftime report, 24-14 in favor of Delaware. As Coastal, though, got a touchdown to end the first half, and they do get the football to begin the second. As both teams have been relying on the passing game today, Delaware's been a little bit more well-rounded than Coastal, and it's got them up by 10. But Coastal with a chance to double dip here, getting some sandwich points as they come into the second half of their own 16. Wants a deep ball right off the rip, and this one's incomplete. Khalil Ali with nice coverage downfield as that one's broken up. 2nd and 10, go back underneath. This one's caught a yard shy of the marker. And it's going to be 3rd and 1. They come out in a heavy goal line package, trying to quarterback sneak it, but they don't get it. Stuffed shy. That is Michael Marion, the Rutgers transfer, with the stop. That's forcing a 3 and out. First drive for Delaware will start at the 49 of Coastal as they get good field position to begin. After an incomplete pass, they go back to the ground game as St. Fleur picks up a first down with ease. 14 carries, 89 yards for St. Fleur. He had 2 touchdowns already today. And they'll continue to just rely on the ground game, and it works out. Another first down run, and he's out past 100 yards. I know this is only Coastal Carolina, but it's great to see the run defense start off a lot better than they did last year. 1st and 10, and Blake Brown's hit as he throws. That one's incomplete. As they'll go back to the ground on 2nd down. There's nowhere to go this time for St. Fleur. He's quickly bottled up, and this play won't even count anyway. I think there's an illegal blocking in the back downfield on Delaware. As Coastal Carolina will have a decision to make, and they will ultimately accept the penalty, forcing a 2nd and 18. Brown will go to the air here on 2nd down. It's a quick pass for Welsh, and he has it caught. That's going to be a gain of 11 for the former San Diego State Aztec. 3rd and 7 now here for Delaware. Brown short has his man. It's caught by Brown as the Brown connection will be marked 2 yards shy, and that'll bring out Casillas again. He makes it 27-14. A 13-point lead here for Delaware, as there's a nice run stop there. Anthony Crenshaw Jr. on the outside. We didn't touch it on him in the preview, but he will be playing some edge rusher as well. Now a 3rd and 10 across the middle, wide open, as there's nobody in the middle of the field. A spin move, and that's going to be a touchdown. 53 yards to Jamarion Wayne, the returning receiver for Coastal, who had 7 touchdowns last year, and he's got a big 53-yard score here this time. It's now 27-21. First down, Blake Brown is sacked up the middle, Walt Gray with it, and the tides seem to be turning. 3rd and 13, Coastal with the momentum, trying to force a 3 and out. Brown rolls to his right, fires with Burdell, and that's a beautiful ball. Put right where only Burdell can get it. That is a crucial 3rd down, as I think a 3 and out would have put Delaware really on the back foot. Now the chance to regain it about midfield. Brown with a quick audible, with a strike to Amanqua out wide for a gain of 2. 2nd and 8, they go to the ground. St. Fleur off tackle, and he's going to pick up a 1st down. It's 8 more for Saeed St. Fleur. 112 now on the ground. Next play, go right back to him, and he's going to have another 1st down run, dragging defenders down. And he's actually going to come off the field with an injury, and he would be doubtful to return. So that could be a big blow for Delaware. It's relied heavily on him early, as now Greg Spiller comes in, and he loses 7 on the screen. Matt Woodley there with the stop. Now 3rd and 11. Brown sees something he likes, and he's going to throw it to Burdell, who beats his man in single coverage, and he has a score. Touchdown, Delaware. That was all on Blake Brown. He saw the defense shift. Audible for Burdell, and he scores, and now it's 34-21 as we go into the 4th quarter. A 13-point lead for the Blue Hens. Only 15 minutes away from starting the season off 1-0. Coastal Carolina will start the 4th quarter with a crucial 4th and 3. They go with the handoff to Edwards, and he will not get the 1st down. They're going to mark him shy. It was close, but Kingsley Royal with the stop. And there will be no turnover or no looking at it, as that'll be Delaware ball. I thought he got it, but we'll definitely take it. As Delaware's next drive, here's a nice run by Spiller. It's nice to see that the run offense has not taken a step back with Saeed St. Fleur out with an injury, but now the passing game getting going. Fama Tor, the senior transfer, with a nice catch, his 2nd of the day. He only had 2 catches at Rutgers all year. Now he's got 2 for 43 thus far for Delaware. Goal to go, delay give for Spiller, trying to catch Coastal off guard. Last time they pitched it to the receiver. They tried to run it this time, but Miles Woods with a nice stop. 2nd and goal now from the 7. Burdell, tough grab, and he's going to be a yard shy. Now you got 3rd and goal from the 1. Trying to punch it in. Brown with a quick throw, and Burdell's going to hold on for the touchdown. You trust your security blanket. 2 touchdowns on the day for Burdell. And Delaware's up 40-21, trying to make it a 21-point game. They're going to go for 2. Screen to Torrey, and he will not get it. There is a holding call on the play anyway, but it won't really matter. So a 3-score game now. Coastal Carolina with it now. They need a score here as they got a 4th and 9. This could arguably be the game here, as Barber in the pocket, a clean pocket all day to throw, and he's going to let it rip downfield inside the 5. You can't give Roquan Barber all day to throw like that. He will make you pay. And now it's goal to go from the 3. They hand it off to Edwards, and he won't get there. Flag down as well, as it looks like it's going to be a holding call against Coastal, so that'll back him up. They'll get O.J. McNeil with it. Goal to go now here from the 13-yard line. Barber to the air, and 3-man rush doesn't get home. It's thrown short, and they'll pick up 6. Clock will also continue to run as well, as we come up on 6 minutes now. 2nd and goal. They go with a play fake. No pressure on Barber again, and he will throw it out of the back of the end zone as time finally runs out. Delaware's pass rush today has been a little quiet. They don't have any sacks here on the day thus far. 3rd and goal now. Barber lets it rip, and this one's incomplete. Now it's 4th and goal from the 7. Coastal Carolina, they will go for it. You need touchdowns, down by 8, 19. We'll see what they come up with. Barber to the air, 4-man rush. Plenty of time to throw. Nobody getting pressure, and eventually somebody's going to break open, and that's a touchdown, a strike to the tight end, Zach Courtney. I mean, if you give him that much time, it's going to work out. 40-28 now your score. Still a 2-possession game. as Delaware's going to start running the football a little bit more. Pick up a 4 on first down, 2nd and 6 now, and Spiller's bottled up. Now you got a 3rd and 7. Do you run it again, or do you go to the air? Delaware will go to the air. Brown to throw it. Pressure in his face. Rolls out to his right. Just throws it away. And Delaware will punt the football to Coastal. This game may not be over yet. 1st and 10 from the 43. Barber in the pocket. Will throw it left side. That one's incomplete. Couldn't connect with Courtney. Threw it a little high. 2nd and 10 now. Spreading out the defense. Only 5 linemen. It's a quick pass. This one's bottled up. And it's going to be 3rd and 10. Coastal will hurry back to the line. They want to try to get a play off before the 2-minute warning, and they will. Barber steps up in the pocket. He's going to let it rip way downfield in single coverage, and that one's caught for a touchdown. 57 yards to Tristan Glass as Kayshawn Cox got turned every which way there on that play, and it's now 40-35, and all of a sudden Delaware has got to get some first downs, otherwise they could give Coastal a chance to win the game. There's a big first down as the 2-minute warning had struck. Coastal will start burning timeouts, and now you're 1 first down away from winning the game. The run game has been really good thus far today. We just need it to get 1 more first down, as there's going to be a gain of 2 on the next 2nd and 8. Back to Spiller left side. He will have the first down, and that will do it for this one. Got a little close down the stretch, but Delaware will win 40-35 and start off the season 1-0. Some good and some bad in this game. It's good that we never were actually trailing thus far. And the offense looked really good. Blake Brown 4 touchdowns in his first game as the new starter. But the defense looked a little suspect today. There was not a lot of pass rush. Only 1 sack on the day. It came very late in garbage time with Noah Matthews on that last drive. But the defense played shaky. You know, the middle of the field was left open a lot. The linebackers, Gallagher and Mole, they haven't seemed to have developed their chemistry yet. And, again, no pass rush. So we'll have to see what we can do to fix the defense. But nonetheless, a good start to the season for Delaware. The offense looked really good, despite it being 10 out of 11 new starters. And you can never complain starting off 1-0 to begin the season. We also get a Conference Player of the Week this week on offense side. St. Fleur will get it, as he had 125 yards rushing and 2 total touchdowns. He would also be okay. He'll be good to go next week against Vanderbilt. The top stories coming out of Week 1, South Carolina upsets Miami 26-19. So both teams in the national title last year start off 0-1. Notre Dame's going to start off 0-2. They lose to Wisconsin 35-31. And then arguably the game of the season coming up next, Ohio State and Texas in Week 2. And Michigan will play host to Oklahoma as well. Your scores in Week 1, Ohio State slaughters Ball State, so they seem ready for Texas. And then Wake Forest beats Akron 27-19. Indiana will start off 1-0 as they beat Colorado State 24-20. And then Houston will knock off Oregon State by a touchdown, 34-27. Iowa loses to Northern Illinois, so we get our first MAC team to beat a Big Ten team this year. It's the Huskies beating Iowa. Actually, Northern Illinois is not in the MAC anymore, even though they should be. Penn State will beat Marshall, so at least they don't start 0-2. Nebraska will beat Ohio, 34-16. Pittsburgh over Miami, Ohio. And then Michigan will take care of Western Michigan. Oklahoma also seems ready for the Wolverines. They slaughter UTEP, putting up 63 on them. UTSA will beat James Madison. It's nice to see them starting off 0-1. Georgia slaughters NC State 42-7. The Bulldogs might be the favorites this year to win it all. Florida State by a touchdown over Washington State. Even though the Cougars start off 0-2, they've had 2 close losses against Power 4 teams. Ole Miss beats Jacksonville State. Baylor passes the test on the road to Auburn, 23-20. Michigan State also starts off 2-0. They beat Eastern Michigan. And then we see South Carolina upset Miami 26-19. USC knocks off Fresno State. Wisconsin does beat Notre Dame by 4 in South Bend. Those are 2 losses at home and close matchups for Notre Dame. Cal beats the rivals UCLA. Texas slaughters Texas State. They're ready for the Buckeyes. That's going to be a huge matchup. It could be a college football national championship preview. Texas A&M over New Mexico. Boston College 2-0 as they beat Cincinnati. TCU beats North Carolina in a battle of Power 4 teams. Mississippi State passes Louisiana Monroe with ease. Memphis beats their rivals Arkansas State by a field goal. Oregon does beat Boise State 38-21. And then Alabama on the road will beat West Virginia as the Crimson Tide now up to number 6. New Mexico State beats Central Michigan. It looks like they might be a team to watch out for in the Conference USA. And then on another Conference USA team, FIU gets slaughtered by South Florida. Wyoming loses a close one at home to North Texas. Duke, who made the playoff last year as they have Minsack quarterback, look good against Tulane. Georgia Tech will slaughter Colorado, and then Oklahoma State wins the Turnpike Classic over Tulsa. The game of the week was in LSU, and Clemson wins a shootout 54-52. The Tigers, Clemson that is, wins it on the road. Florida defeats Louisiana Tech with ease. San Jose State over Florida Atlantic, and then Arizona State knocks off Hawaii. Your players of the week, Jaleel Hurley in the loss had 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. Then Chauncey Cobb of Arkansas State, also in a loss, had a good game. And then on the Conference USA side of things, it's Bobby Darman of FIU, and then, of course, Saeed St. Fleur. Here's a look at the top 25 now. Miami was the big culprit, as well as Penn State and Notre Dame with their shaky starts. And one thing that's interesting in this top 25, there are no group of 5 teams in the top 25. It is all Power 4 teams, showing how the landscape of college football has become really top-heavy. Your big games of week 2, obviously Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma, Michigan. Those are the top 2. Duke, though, will have a test on the road against Illinois. Number 6, Alabama will play host to the South Florida Bulls in the week 2 slate. As far as our week 2, we'll be heading to a big-time school as we hit on the road to Vanderbilt in our first of 2 Power 4 games this year. Obviously, it's never easy going on the road to play Vanderbilt and the Power 4, but I will say, if there's a team to beat in the Power 4, it might be the Commodores. They are easily the worst team in the SEC, and I feel like they're honestly not that much better than us. If we can slow down their offense, I have faith in our offense actually keeping pace and putting up some points against Vanderbilt, but you just got to slow them down. We'll see that in the next episode, but thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so happy to have gotten year 2 off to a 1-0 start, and I can't wait to see what we can do with the Delaware Blue Hens this year. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.